We are back, boys. UFC 318, Holloway versus Poirier 3, full card predictions. We were off a little bit. I'm saying a little break. Things happen. I was on vacation. Stay in tune with IG. We still consistently posted all the picks. And now here's the full card breakdown. We're back on our grind. This is the script. Let's start with the first fight on this card. We have Nicole Cagliari versus Carly Judas. Now this might be a biased pick. Nicole is tough, you know what I'm saying? You guys can look at that at your own time. But I'm going Nicole Cagliari. Now I understand Carly is a better striker. She's taller. But I feel like Nicole can win this if you don't really want to go for this fight. I mean, if you don't want to bet this, whatever. If you don't want to pick this fight, I get it. This is the first fight of the night, and it's a women's fight. But I think Nicole has good grappling. She lost to Carrot Cake. Carrot Cake also beat Carly. So, I believe Cagliari did better against Carrot Cake at implementing the grappling. She has the height and reach disadvantage. And I think that's the biggest hole in this fight, though. I feel like Judas can pick her apart from the outside, but her striking isn't as good as Judas, of course, but I think she can hold her own and get the takedowns to possibly secure a round or two to get her that win. Moving on up the card, we have Bruno Ferreira versus Jackson McVeigh. And I mean, this is crazy that Bruno Ferreira is even this low on the early prelims, but I'm going Bruno Ferreira. Jackson McVeigh has no UFC experience. Bruno literally just sent Armin Petrosian packing by submission. But yeah, Jackson McVeigh, bro, he hasn't really fought anybody. Only has 6 fights in the UFC. Can't really trust him to get done. Was supposed to fight Cedric Dumas, but Cedric Dumas is on house arrest. Don't really know what kind of matchmaking this is, to be honest. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm going Bruno Ferreira to get this one done. Moving on up the card, we have Ryan Spann versus Lukaszys Brzezinski. And this is what pisses me off about Ryan Spann. And I'm going to pick Ryan Spann, but he wins when he's supposed to lose, and he loses when he's supposed to win. I picked against him in the Waldo Cortez fight. The odds were pretty close, but I didn't really believe in Ryan Spann. But in this fight, he should win. But like I said, in the fights he's supposed to win, he just decides to lose. But he has the tools to win this, so I'm going Ryan Spann. If he actually tries, he should win this. Moving on up the card, we have Jimmy Crute versus Marcin Prachnio. And I'm going Jimmy Crute, man. Jimmy Crute has good BJJ. He's a wrestler. And I think when he actually, gets a couple takedowns and shit, he does his thing on the ground. I think he should beat Marcin. I think he's like a minus 300. If you look at his last 5 fights, like 2 draws or something and 3 L's. But I think Jimmy Crute gets this done. And that's really it. I think he has really good grappling. And I think it's going to show in this fight. Moving on up the card, we have Adam Fuggett versus... Literally fuck it. But he's versus Islam Dulatov. Even though Islam Dulatov is making his debut, I'm going Islam Dulatov to get this one done. He was a minus 1,000 favorite in his last fight, and he looked it, got a first round KO via elbows. He has good takedown entries if needed. And I mean, I feel like this is kind of a lob up from the UFC. Adam Fuggett is good. Now, he's like okay. He's not good, but he's okay. But I feel like this is just a lob up for Islam to get this one done. Give me Islam by finish, honestly. Moving on the card, we have Atiba Gautier. I don't know how bro's making 185 at 6'4", and he's still that jacked. But he's versus Robert Valentine. And I'm going Atiba Gautier by brutal KO. Robert Valentine coming off that split decision against Torres Finney, where Torres Finney literally only landed 4 significant strikes. Bro, that was the greatest fight of all time, bro. Y'all gotta rewatch that shit. Do not rewatch that. Torres Finney, snooze fest. A lot of people were just cooking him for just boring fight. And Robert Valentine, his chin has been cracked already. Adaba hits hard. He just cracked Medina's chin, the first to knock out Medina. Could be a close fight, maybe, but most likely not. Just depends if maybe Atsuba gasses out. We haven't seen him in the third round yet, but I don't even see this going past the second, to be honest. And second, I'm kind of pushing for second. Moving on up the card, we have Francisco Prado versus Nikolai Veretinnikov. All right. Anyway, I'm going Francisco Prado. Nikolov hasn't really proved himself at all in the UFC. He lost a split decision to Danny Barlow. Should be a close fight, maybe, depending how Francisco Prado looks. But I'm going Prado to get this one done. They're both coming off losses, but I just feel a little more comfortable going Prado. Moving on up the card. I don't know why this is so low on the card, but we have Marvin Vettori. This is criminally low on the card. We have Marvin Vettori versus Brendan Allen. And I think this is going to be a master class by Brendan Allen. I think I've seen this line shrinking. Brendan Allen was a minus 230. Now he's a minus 205. What are we talking about? Bro, Marvin Vettori, if you watch his fights, if you watch that fight with Roman Dolidze, he literally just strikes and he just has a crazy chin. Didn't really look that impressive. Brendan Allen lost to two of the top two guys. One in Imavov, who's the number one contender at the moment. But bro, Anthony Hernandez, Fluffy Hernandez, like, he's a problem for the middleweight division, and a lot of people are going to realize it, but he kind of got a round off on Fluffy. Like, if you look, I don't know if it was a split decision, but he was looking good in a couple of the rounds, actually. They got in really good grappling exchanges, but yeah, Vittori's a decision merchant, doesn't really have any finishing potential. The finishing potential is on Brendan Allen's side. Wouldn't even be surprised if Brendan Allen got the sub, but Brendan Allen is just alright on the feet. He's more of a grappler. He lost two fights, like I said, Anthony Hernandez and Imavov, which are great losses. If you're losing to those two, you know what I'm saying? And then Vettori is on a decline. His striking looked just okay. He has an iron chin, but wouldn't be surprised if Brendan Allen subbed him. Moving on up the card, we have Kyler Phillips versus Vinicius Oliveira. And I'm not going to lie, boys, this is another fight. The odds were tightening, and I'm like, how? Vinicius Oliveira, I think, opened up at minus 230. Now he's a minus 150. Vinicius Oliveira just beat Said Nurmagomedov, which is better than Kyler Phillips. Beat Ricky Simon, which is who's better than Kyler Phillips. He's beating these guys that are better than Kyler Phillips. Like, bro, I don't understand the line movement. I get it, maybe, but Kyler Phillips is also coming off a loss to Rob Font. Even though Rob Font is kind of fraud checking these guys, I think Vinicius Oliveira beats Rob Font. So I'm going Vinicius Oliveira, former dog of the week. Again, like I said, Said Nurmagomedov was a good win. Like I said, both can mix it up in the grappling. Vinicius Oliveira has proved to have better takedown defense. If you've seen a lot of people, Soposh took him down. Yeah, but Said Nurmagomedov went 1 for 9 on takedowns on him. So while Kyler Phillips is coming off a loss, I don't think it's going to really matter that much. Give me Vinicius Oliveira. Then we have Michael Johnson, who's found on the A train, bro. They found Michael Johnson in New York on the A train, headed to Harlem, versus Daniel Zellhuber. Daniel Zellhuber lost in Noche UFC against Esteban Ribovics. It's a good loss. And this is, bro, I don't know why. I get the feeling Michael Johnson's about to come out here, crackhead energy, KO Daniel Zellhuber. But the most likely outcome is Daniel Zellhuber is a little more pointy on the feet. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a little more technical on the feet, jabbing him up, taking his time. I like Daniel Zellhuber in this matchup to get it done. He does have like a sub on his record, so maybe he gets a sub too. But I think Michael Johnson, you just never really know. He does have more experience. But like I said, Daniel Zellhuber, I like how he keeps range. I like how he just manages distance. And I'm going him to get it done. But like I said, Michael Johnson was found on the A train. You do what you want with that knowledge. And now I don't know why UFC stuff is tripping out, but for the Dan Ige fight versus they got UFC. What are we doing here? But for the Dan Ige fight versus Patricio Pitbull, I'm going Dan Ige. Pitbull looked against Yair. Don't get me wrong, Yair is 5'11". There was a big height disadvantage, but Dan Ige just beat Slenderman. He just beat Sean Woodson, and that was a good TKO win. Kind of a bad call by the ref, but you could kind of tell Woodson was feeling the pressure of the moment, and he was getting hit by those Ige punches. I'm going Ige because Pitbull has yet to prove himself, and Ige, he does fight the top contenders, bro. So can't really take that against him. Moving on up the card, we have Kevin Holland versus Daniel Rodriguez. Now, Kevin Holland should be a lock on this card. This matchmaking doesn't make sense in my opinion. This is kind of like an easy payday for Holland. Just kind of showing up to work. Daniel Rodriguez is kind of just a boxer, and Kevin Holland usually loses to like grapplers and things like that. And he also just loses if he doesn't try. That's the biggest thing with Kevin Holland. We know this time and time again. He just doesn't try. So, but like I said, give me Kevin Holland. He has more ways to win. Grappling. He has longer reach. A lot longer reach, too. Like, I'm not even almost a fucking 10-inch reach disadvantage. Bro, I'm glitching out, bro. But, yeah, I mean, Kevin Holland looked really good in his last performance, giving Vicente Luque problems on the ground, subbing him via Doris. Crazy work. So, yeah, give me Kevin Holland to get this one done. Daniel Rodriguez is coming off a nasty KO, but I just feel like, man, he just doesn't have enough tools to win this. But, I mean, Kevin Holland is hard to... Honestly, he's just hard to pick, bro. You never know if he's going to try or not. Moving on up the card, we have Paulo Costa versus Roman Kopylov. I'm going Roman Kopylov, man. Paulo Costa, man, I genuinely just don't know. Like, bro's been just too inconsistent. Paulo Costa didn't look like himself in the last fight. He versed Strickland, fought at Strickland's pace the entire fight. Roman Kopylov got that BSKO over Curtis Blades. Not his fault, though. That was a nasty head kick. He hit with Blades. I mean, not Curtis Blades. Chris Curtis. My apologies. But he was able to push throughout that fight. Chris Curtis did give him some problems. Not really. Kopylov was able to pull it through in the end. Kopylov just seems more serious about his career as opposed to Paulo Costa. We'll see if Paulo Costa even shows up for this fight. He's been pulling out of a lot of fights recently. I think this is locked in, but we'll just really have to see. I think they both have decent striking. Slight edge to Kopylov, because that's really his background. But Costa does tend to fade as the rounds go on. He obviously is like he's really explosive when it starts, slows down as the fight goes on. But yeah, I'm gonna go Kopylov. I think he can mix it in with he can mix it up with the takedowns as well. And last Costa win was Luke Rockhold. So I feel like that just says enough about where they are in their careers at the moment. And moving on up the card, we have Max Holloway versus Dustin Poirier. Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. And I'm going Dustin Poirier. Dustin has a slight edge all around. Max uses his chin and the volume striking to his advantage. But if you look at Dustin Poirier's resume, he really only loses to grapplers. And when it's a boxing-only match, he barely loses those. He's already beat Max twice. He snapped Max's 13-win streak. 13-fight win streak. He snapped that. It's tricky to predict because they're both in different points in their career. And you also don't know if these people, in the last 10 seconds, they're going to be like, yo, fuck it, let's just throw. Maybe one of them gets chinned. But Max won't try to wrestle, and that can open him up on the feet. And maybe Dustin mixes in some takedowns, etc. And it's just like, Dustin gave Islam his hardest fight. He was actually winning that Islam fight before he got submitted. I'm going Dustin Poirier to get it done. Max Holloway is coming off a brutal KO loss. His first KO loss. We'll see how he bounces back. Those are my predictions. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know who you guys have in the comments below. And I'm out.